I just had a good idea. Since I don't want to make public videos really, because if videos draw more attention, then I get emails and questions. In the past, I've worked with people on projects. We'll send each other unlisted videos. Maybe we'll talk on the phone. We'll go over things. In the last year, I haven't really been doing any social media, and I don't really want to do, unless I archived footage and put together very good edited videos that explain things, because I'm interested in applying the flint knapping to the archaeology. Then it just gets to be too much rambling and too much material to really digest and come to, points about things. So what I think you should do, because I haven't been keeping up also, people have been doing some pretty cool work. Some of the buffalo horn indirect percussion on stuff. And if I have not gotten back to your email in the last year, I had to go to St. Louis to get my mom resituated and look after her. And I've been back for a few months, but what I think, I'm gonna not do video, so I'll leave this will be the most recent video. And then if you have a channel on flint knapping, I don't care if you're doing Hammerstone or if you're doing, the world's biggest Cumberlands with a hydraulic press. If your channel isn't getting traction or you want to just leave a link of a video, I'm probably not going to respond to the, some of the stuff I'm not interested in. But if you have a question on peg punching or whatever, and people ask me, I'm having problems and they send me pictures, it's better if you can just get your phone set up in a cheap tripod like this, turn it on, do some knapping, and then show me. And then as I get to it, and don't be offended if I don't get to it right away, but the next time I work on that, I'll have it in the back of my mind, because it'll be that first video up there, and then I'll just make an unlisted reply and post a link to your comment. So if you want to leave a comment, post a video public to your channel, then people can look at it and say, okay, I have that same problem too. And then I can make an unlisted reply. Maybe you'll know more about, I don't, just because I do all this flint knapping for so long doesn't mean that I have everything covered as far as experience. And there's certain limitations. I've never been really comfortable just sitting on the ground flint knapping like Mike Iltiger does, or some of that. So, but as far as like a broad range of tools and different other support systems, I've got so much experience on it because I've been doing it so long. So if you post your video and I post a response, then other people can engage, and maybe you'll get more traction to your channel. I don't know how the algorithm works or how, easy it is nowadays for people with small audiences to share their stuff. So if you're interested in doing that, I'd definitely be interested in doing that. And that way, my unlisted videos will get so few views that the people who are really interested in it will be the ones who will be able to see it, and that'll be more fun for me. So yeah, just do that. And this might be the last video I do for a while, unless I do another one out of the blue for some reason. I've got 5 boxes left of the chert from yesterday. So I've got a new dog. Rico died on October 10th. It was real sad. So we rescued a dog. Somebody put him in a dumpster. Can you believe that? Hey, get away from me. I actually let him chew on the back of the horns because I only need the tips to not be slimy. But he's been a good boy. So yeah. I'll do a little nibbling around just so I don't pass the time. I've had some breakthroughs on some stuff I'm kind of sitting on. Eventually maybe I'll share, but it's getting to the point of my napping game where all this idealistic, free patent stuff is getting in my way. So I'm better off just kind of doing my own thing and try to keep my head above water. Thought I had this zoomed in twice. X, but I don't. When you're doing hammerstone trimming and you get kind of a careless flake that adjacent does some damage, it's real easy to compound that. So you just have to take small flakes next to it and make sure that you don't just thicken your edge double down and grind a spot. I got a new phone, and I was going to sell some larger boxes of material on my site, gallery@flintneppers.com. Sometimes I list my points there too, but it's not allowing me to upload photos. I don't know what the deal is. I need to figure that out. It's fun to take all these little flakes off, thick areas. And if you're working on small to medium-sized pieces of raw chert with the Hammerstone, it's easier to do with some pretty just fairly glassy raw chert than heat-treated stuff. If you wanted to post videos, let's say you wanted to do peg punching on some obsidian, and then you've got it going in conversations. If you do something else, just go ahead and do a new comment and then put your unlisted video there. And then maybe people, if they're getting into a theme of working on it, they can post theirs in the same comment, right? So they're working obsidian with the punch, they can post theirs in the same thing, in case this gets popular, and then people don't have to go through every comment and there's conversations and things like that. So maybe you guys will have to just sort it out. And then just be respectful, not to spam too much. I was looking at the artifact forums on Facebook, and there's some guy that every time somebody points a questionable point, he's a napper, and he'll post like pictures of everything he's made in the last 10 years. And then of course it aggravates everybody, and he doubles down, and I haven't really looked at Facebook a lot, but it's the Wild West out there. is a little mushy. I covered stuff up last night under the porch and it blew my pillow off and got my stuff soaked. If you start to get a little split in your antler, you just file it out. More prone to happen on the edges here. If you get boogered up, sometimes you just have to borrow, get started off the top of the ear. I'd have to get out of... I don't want to use my really good finishing punch because this piece isn't worth it. But I'm making a mess of this. I should have done a little punch thinning off this instead of going from the Hammerstone, because I'm pretty heavy on these edges. You don't want to get too sharp. And there for this, you can get sharp when you have good material and you're finishing in. Better save myself it and do sending up that notch real quick. This is an earliest point. I haven't done any notching in a while. It's showing. This will make you feel better about posting your antler notching videos. But if it's just got a theme and it's like goes in there sort of how it goes, you can chip the, you can do some basal punch work and blade work and get something presentable anyhow. throw this in one of the last remaining boxes of chips, and balls and stuff. I'll put it in a little wrapping so it doesn't break, but it may break, but just something breaks on it, just recheck it. Try to get a tiny punch light, clear up that notch area. I can get that out with a flick. Maybe. Yeah, I might have to stay. I'm not gonna make the tip too pointy because it will just break off in the nail. Have to do that little background to put just a little facet on that platform. Okay, we need one to curl around there, so we have to set up a little. Get rid of the pumps. Ryan, see that place I'm going to put the punch right there? It might have enough to get around down there. Maybe. No. Might be able to get just a little one right there. Yeah, it did. Now we could get across to get that little step. Not that it matters, but the step is there. A little concrete in there. There we go. When you have sort of rough, open, hacky notches, the points can end up looking kind of cool anyhow. Sometimes. When you get this, just pressure flick the tip if you want to. Or, pressure flick the entire thing. Do whatever you want. So yeah, feel free to post your, to comment, say, link to a video in your channel if you want. I'm not saying that you have to do this, but it would be helpful to other people probably. And if it's a question I can quickly address, like as I think about it with an unlisted video reply, then I'd be happy to do that.